Okay, in this video I'm going to be recharging the air conditioner in my Nissan Pathfinder. If you watched the last video, I did a bunch of electrical tests. I've also did some fuses on the side, figured out that the compressor is working fine, and I also figured out that there is absolutely no refrigerant in the line. So quick poke on the high side. I've already done this. This is more for demonstrational purposes. And definitely wear gloves if you're going to mess around with your AC. And here on the low side, also nothing. Obviously, I already know this. For this, I'm using a product called Red Tech. I got the 12A refrigerant. And I also got Red Tech 12 dehydrating treatment. On the high side, there should be an H normally labeled on your AC lines, and then on the low side, it doesn't have that. And also, if you're using one of these can systems, it should not fit on the high side, but I don't know. I can't guarantee that. So make sure you know the high side and the low side. For these things, they just screw onto the can for the most part, and then there's a little screw-in top that pierces the top of the can. And then just make sure that it's connected firmly to the low side AC line. So I've already got the vehicle running, and I'm really just dumping in this whole can of dry 12. And the reason I'm using this is because I had nothing in the AC lines. If I still had a little bit of pressure, I probably wouldn't use this, but this is designed to remove any moisture that might have accumulated in the system, and because I had no pressure, there's a chance that moisture got in there. So the dry 12 is supposed to be equivalent to 2 ounces of refrigerant. So after the first can was in, I turned off the vehicle, disconnected everything from the AC line on the vehicle, because if you take the can off, it could start pushing the refrigerant you put in the lines back out. So reconnect the can, reconnect it to the vehicle, turn it back on, and turn on the AC. Now the number I'm aiming for on the gauge is 30 to 40 PSI at most. I don't really achieve that. These 2 small cans I don't think were quite enough with the system completely empty. You can see it's going up to 40, but it'll drop down there. The gauge does move around a little bit, and then once I turn off the flow, it's going to drop way down to 25. So I probably don't have enough, but that's okay. This is good for demonstrational purposes. For these cans, it says to invert the can. So for the most part, I left them inverted. Some cans might not say that. And for a point of interest, if you're in the States, I believe you can buy the 134A, which is the recommended for this vehicle. Here in Canada, you can't buy 134A at stores. You need to get this 12A product, which is not the same as 12. So turn off the vehicle. Disconnected the can. If you pierce the can, you're not supposed to disconnect it from the hose necessarily, because it could spray all over the place. So if you're not using the full can, keep that in mind. And also keep in mind the amount of refrigerant that your vehicle should be able to handle should be somewhere in the hood area, as well as the type of refrigerant you're supposed to use. So I'm going to say it for about a 15-minute drive just to circulate everything. So I put the refrigerant in on Friday, and I'm driving around on Monday. I went through about a quarter tank of gas, drove, I don't know, a little bit under 100 kilometers, and I'm just going to take it for a drive. It's 23 degrees Celsius out, and you can see the air conditioner is putting out about 14 Celsius, so about a 10 degrees Celsius drop. Throw it into Fahrenheit, and that's just under 60, about 58. Here's my second test going from full heat. No AC on at 74 Fahrenheit, throw the AC on, and there it is dropping. Now it might not be as cold as it was last summer. It definitely blew colder with the 134A. It was previously because there's just not enough refrigerant. I just got the 2 small cans, so perhaps another can will fix this. I wouldn't do this on a new vehicle necessarily. I'd probably just pay the $350 for the check and recharge. But because it's a bit of an older vehicle, I wanted to do the test on this stuff. Seems to work fine, and it's supposed to be compatible with the 134A. So over the 4 days, it does seem to be holding the refrigerant. It may have leaked over the winter. In cold weather, the seals can shrink a little bit, leading to leakage. Or because the AC wasn't turned on and circulating the oil and refrigerant, the seals could have dried a little bit, and the result is that some of the refrigerant escaped. But now it doesn't seem to be an issue. Perhaps the seals sort of expanded a little bit in the warmer temperature. Anyway, I'll see how this goes, and hopefully it keeps going strong. Thanks for checking out my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.